I just wanted to, before Clarko talks about this week's game against Richmond, there's been a lot of commentary around the Paul Curtis decision and report. Firstly, as a club, we just want to make sure that Hamish Davis is recovering well. We understand that concussion is a major issue for the AFL as a whole and the players to get right and try and safeguard the future for our players. So we understand that it's a big issue. But there's been a lot of commentary through the media from a lot of different areas. We feel that we put together a very strong case to get Paul off. We thought we had great grounds. We had a KC, 2 barristers, club legal counsel, 2 analysts from the club, a further 3 staff members working pretty much full time from Saturday night to the case. Biomechanist that was part of that decision on how we defend Paul. At the end of the day, we were very confident the case unfolded, and as it was unfolding, we became more confident that we were going to get a very good hearing and Paul would be looked after and not miss 3 games. So at the end of the day, the AFL Tribunal didn't see it the same way. We saw it as an apple. Unfortunately, they saw it as an orange. Now, I don't know how we get to the bottom of that, but we didn't think there was significant intent, and I think we talked about intent a lot. What was the intent of the player? Was there intent to drive, to sling, all those type of things? Without getting into detail, but we thought Paul's intent was to tackle, and injuries will happen in footy. So we're disappointed in that. Conversations from our point of view, I will go in and speak with Swanee and perhaps put our view over again with him around that. But we're disappointed, but we move on with this week. As for Jai Simpkin, obviously a lot of stuff with Jai as well. It came out really strongly, looking after his teammate. He had some frustrations, probably like we all did, and he voiced those through social media. We know the AFL, we've got a good relationship with the AFL, and probably like similar to myself, if someone's got an issue with me, I expect a conversation face-to-face and not an email or something on social media. We've had the conversation with Jai. We support him in the fact that he wanted to look after his teammate, that he's got some frustrations, but the message to Jai was, look, if you feel really strongly, then let's go in and speak to Dills or to Swanee or to Laura Kane, whoever it is, to voice those concerns. And he understands that the best way of getting frustrations across and to be heard is to do it face-to-face. So that's probably where I'd like to finish that. We hope Hamish is improving. We're frustrated with the decision like all our members and supporters and the wider game, but we move on to the game this week. So I'm happy to take a couple of questions, but I don't want this to be derailed.
Yeah, so start with Paul Curtis, the decision not to appeal, that always gets found up and rolled, even though they might not realise how unlikely it is to succeed.
Yeah.
How intense were those conversations, and how sure were you that you weren't going to win at the appeal board?
Yeah, no, thanks for bringing that up, because that was part of the spiel that I've left out. But we obviously debated that really strongly. Once again, represented by the KC, the barristers, internal solicitors. There's a lot of confusion over what you can and can't do. Once upon a time, you could go in with a little bit extra information. I'm not happy with that. We're going to go again. Throw out the stumps. There's a very clear, defined process that you have to abide to. Once again, the legal counsel was very clear with us. There was no avenue to appeal against the stuff that's in the tribunal booklet. So we didn't have the opportunity to.
Was there a reason why Paul didn't speak and put his case forward that night?
Once again, we spoke to Paul with the legal representation. We didn't feel like there was any positive to come further than the vision that we put up, that we thought was very, very clear, that Paul's testimony would add anything in a positive nature.
Obviously last year he was suspended similarly. How is he feeling now to cop almost the same 3-week ban 2 weeks running?
Once again, bitterly disappointed. Loves playing footy, and to miss 6 weeks is a severe loss of time and love of the game that he's really disappointed about.
Is there conversations planned between Jai and, as you said, Greg Swan and whoever it may be?
Not at this point, but that option is open to him. I've spoken to him to say that I'm happy to go in with him, but we haven't finalised whether that's going to happen or not.
Was that AFL led, the push for that post to get taken down, or was it club led?
It was a joint conversation.
And do you agree with the idea that a player has to remove their opinion from?
Yeah, well, there's clear rules and regulations about what you can and can't say. It's just a fact. You signed a contract with the AFL and stipulates in there some rules and regulations. I think Dimmer got done the other day, and that's just part of the rules. So we abide by the rules.
And how did Jai take those conversations?
It was fine.
Clearly, you as a club don't agree with the decision and the penalty. So does that mean there won't be any further, I guess, coaching with Paul to avoid this situation going forward?
We have a tackling coach. We work on tackling as part of our program. So once again, we thought the tackle was executed fine. We'll continue to work with our tackling coach and our players around good technique.
Good to get the coach's point of view just quickly. I know we've spoken to Todd, but that whole the week with Paul Curtis, how did you see that play out from the coaching point of view?
Well, I don't think I've got any more to add to it, Zeech. Todd's just covered it so well, and you've hit him with a barrage of questions about all the nitty gritty of it all. And the bottom line from a coaching point of view, I was disappointed we were that PC's going to miss this week's game and on the following two. We got a game against the Tigers on Sunday, and as ruthless as it is from a coaching point of view, it's just like, well, you lose a soldier, you just replace him with the next one, and we just get onto the game. So we'll just focus on what we need to do to beat Richmond on Sunday.
How big a blow is it not to have, from a pure player perspective, someone like Paul out there for you for the next 3 weeks?
Yeah. Well, as disappointed as we are with that, we're delighted that Finn O'Sullivan's back into the side this week following a 2-week absence with his own concussion. So we're disappointed, but they're right across the competition, whether it's suspension or injury or other ailments that players might have and reasons for why they don't play, illness, then we'll miss him for the next 3 weeks. But hopefully he'll freshen up and be right to go for the last 7 games of our season.
The club doesn't get too many opportunities at the MCG these days. How exciting opportunity is that to hopefully be playing finals there down the track? Yeah. Well, it's a great venue. Everyone loves playing at the G, and I think that's probably it's a cauldron of our game. Great atmosphere, and that's where the big games in September are played. So there's 4 sides who've got the fortune of having that as their home ground. So when we get the opportunity to play at the Coliseum and strut our stuff, it's a great opportunity for our boys. So we've got Tigers this week. It's the first time we've been at the G this year, and I think we've got another one later in the year against the Demons. So looking forward to it, but just looking forward to the game more so than the MCG. Just looking forward to trying to back up with another victory after our win last week.
I just might ask you one on Jai, and then we can move on. But again, from the coaching point of view, that him defending his teammate, which you like to see, I guess, but also in the right framework, how difficult a balance is that?
Well, as Todd indicated, there's a set of rules and regulations that we need to all abide by, and the great beauty of this game is exactly what we're talking about with this, but so many other issues. It's the pub talk. Do you reckon that was fair? And everyone's got their point of view. We had our point of view. Jai certainly had his, and we thought we had a really good case to run. Disappointed, and sometimes just getting the opportunity to air your frustrations, that's a frustration that you can't do that sometimes as well. So that's just the lay of the land, but we move on pretty quickly. Jai's moved on, we've moved on. PC, as disappointed as he was earlier in the week, he came to the club today, invested in his teammates, trained really strongly. He'll be fresh and ready to go for us when he can return in about 3 weeks' time.
The news came out this week about Dawson and Fisher not adhering to team standards a week ago. What was the conversation with them like around that time, and what lessons have they learned?
Oh, it's pretty easy, really. It's just a read the room type of discussion with them. They didn't do anything significantly untoward.
outside the fact that, in my view, when you have a 20-goal loss and a really disappointing performance, you jump into the loser's cave for a little while. They've learnt the errors of our ways. We've got a set of standards around the time you're out and your behaviours in public and that sort of stuff, and we thought they went outside of those, so it was an easy decision for them to go back and play VFL footy last week.
What exactly did they do in those behaviours?
Well, that's they were out longer than they needed to be, so I'll just leave it at that. But they went to the standards of preparing for their next game of footy, but also on the back of such a disappointing performance. We need to wear that as a whole footy club, a coaching staff, a playing group. But really, it's a read the room type of situation, and any of your other teammates out with you at that time of night as well, and it's like, can't see anyone else here. What am I doing here? So anyway, we move on.
Enough to win the trust back of the group after something like that.
Oh, everyone but it's no different to our own children and that sort of stuff. Everyone mucks up from time to time, and you understand that for a certain period of time they feel a little bit sheepish around the group, but they've been good as gold those weeks. They know the error of their ways. They made a mistake. We pulled them up on it in terms of our standards of the footy club, and we move on.
What did you take out of the WA experience? A couple of very different results.
Yeah. Well, we went probably as blatant as it is. We win one and lose one, and probably that's what everyone might have expected when we went away. That probably we might battle to beat Freo, and many would say we're going to be a really big chance against West Coast. That's what it ended up being. The manner in which it was done wasn't all that impressive. So that's all we focus on, and that's done and dusted now. The whole Perth trip. We go across there to try and win games of footy. We won one of them, really disappointing in the other. But a lot of learnings around how we went about it. A lot of learnings about the opponents that we played, and how can we then transfer that into better performance when we go on the road next time, but also how do we transfer that into this week's game against Richmond.
Do you feel like things have opened up for you a bit in terms of, I think you said in your post-match press conference you had a really tough 5-6 week block, and now you can really attack the back half of the season, and that wildcard finals and whatnot are a real option if you can just get things right?
Yeah, all we do know is that we come into this footy club every day to try to improve our performance, and nearly every week there's a slight tweak to the game just doesn't stop still, and we're always trying to evolve and get better. There's been a lot of discussion around our us leaking goals over the last 18 months, much longer than that really, but. And we addressed that really strongly over the summer. In the first 5 or 6 rounds of the season, we were really good in that space, but we weren't playing sides that were from last year's results anyway. We weren't playing the sides that are really at the pointy end of the ladder. When we did play against those sides, we were found out a little bit defensively, and so we now need to go back to work again on some of the things, because they. I think there was 5 weeks in a row or 6 weeks in a row where the opposition scored over 100 points. Now, we managed to win one of those against Gold Coast because we kicked over 100 points as well, and just a little bit more than what they did. But you aren't winning too many games of footy if you're regularly conceding 100 points. So we're just learning all the time. We've got a young group that. And a back end where we're trying some new guys down there. Parker's down there, Zerha's down there. Coop Harvey played his first game for the season down there last week. So we're continuing to evolve and try to get ourselves better, because we think if we can defend the ground a little bit better, it'll give us a better chance to win games of footy.
All right, Simpkin and LD, you all right? I saw them just doing some skills work off to the side at stages.
Yeah, they're fine, and they'll both play, but. You know, there's a lot of guys at this stage of the year where you're just trying to manage them. The younger guys usually get through the weeks a little bit easier than some of the older guys. But you know, they're both playing pretty combative games too. You know, both those guys are regular midfield players for us, where there's just a lot of heat and a lot of knocks and bruises and bumps, and so we've just rested them up a little bit. But they did the majority of training. They just didn't do some of the contact stuff late.
What's your assessment of Richmond? They get a pretty handy inclusion in Toby Nankervis, the first time since you had two.
Yeah. Well, he's obviously captain of their club, and they've probably sorely missed him. But they've done tremendously well. They've got a young fella that's got some exposure to his ruck craft, and they've used Bolter in that role too, with some success. But notwithstanding the inclusion of Big Nank, their footy over the last little while has been pretty impressive, and they really took it up to Brisbane last week, and we all know the quality of the Brisbane side has been the back-to-back premiers. So we know they're going to be on their home track. We're also excited to be playing at that ground too. So we're hoping there'll be a big crowd there, and it'll be a great game of footy.
If I may, there was two, I guess, confusing holding the ball calls last night. It seems to be never any discussion. You've been in the camp of getting rid of prior opportunities before. Is that still your stance with the holding the ball rule?
Oh, listen, it's the same sort of thing, and my preference is not to use this forum to discuss that, as we spoke about, just go straight to the AFL and talk about those things. But it continues to be a grey area in the game, and there's part of it that we like. It's a game of chaos. So, you know, the regular debate about what goes on with prior opportunity and holding the ball and incorrect disposal and all that sort of stuff has been going on since I can remember, when I was a little fella just starting out in the game. So the intrigue and the grey area of that part of the game doesn't seem to have changed for about 50 years. So not sure if it ever will change, because our game is so chaotic. But we'll continue to throw up ideas on how it could be better. But geez, they've been trying for 50 years. I'm not sure that someone's going to come up with a good solution. It is just a fanatical and chaotic game that continues to draw us in. But that's why there's just so much emotion around the game as well. You know, we're passionate about it. Jai was passionate about it. PC's passionate about it. We as a club are passionate about it. And we want to compete as best we possibly can in the environment that we're operating in, but that's been the same for 50 years.
Is that a slight softening on your prior opportunity stance then, if you're happy with the grey now?
No, I'm not saying I'm happy with the grey, but maybe there's a realisation that, you know, there's a lot of different opinions on what could be done in that space, and I'm not sitting here professing that mine's the right one.
Charlie Comben, apparently Tassie's quite interested in him. I'm sure they're interested in a lot of people. How real is the threat of Tasmania in terms of retention from existing AFL clubs? How wary do you have to be of them?
Oh, very real. They're the 19th team that's coming into the competition. We've all known that for the best part of 18 months. So, I'm sure every list management team is very wary. They're certainly wary of what's going on with draft picks over the next few years. There's going to be less access to the top talent in the land, so you need to prepare this accordingly. And I'd imagine that that's why we as a footy club and 17 other clubs have been working so hard to make sure you sign up and retain the guys that you see as long-term prospects for your footy club. And by and large, we've done a pretty good job of that. And you know, Charlie's probably the next guy on our radar now to try and get signed up long-term for our club.
Can I just ask you, I think your opinion carries weight in this space. You've been in the game a long time. Just one more on the expressing your frustrations and whatnot. I know things have been spoken about with Jai. In an ideal world, how would one express their frustrations? Do you think we need to be a bit more open to criticism than we are?
It's a difficult one. I think we get enough open forums like this. I think what the game doesn't want, and anyone doesn't want really, is to be blindsided by stuff. So I think if you can just find the right forum, there's plenty of opportunity for us to all voice our opinion, but we just don't want it to be too provocative. We don't want it to be against the rules of the game, or to unfairly criticise someone in the game that probably needs protection, like the umpires. We can understand the protection around the umpires. We can understand the protection around tribunal and a court of law and judgments like that. So I think we can find the right forum though, and that's why, as Todd indicated, Jai used the forum of social media, and on reflection, and certainly once he was reminded of what the rules are in place, it was just like, I better retract the way that I approached that, and he was fine with that. Yeah. Oh yeah. It'd be mistaken by us as a footy club to not acknowledge Tony Modra and the heavy hearts that the whole industry's got, but particularly I'm sure the Adelaide Crows supporters and members who would be so disappointed that Mods has been in a severe accident, and we're hoping that he recovers and gets back on his feet pretty soon. But it was very sad to hear of the severity of that accident this morning, and I can recall playing in a couple of games at Footy Park where I think maybe Modra even took Mark of the Year against the Kangas one year. He was a special player, and just he was in his time in the game, it was nearly like pop star status in terms of the music industry. He used to draw a crowd. A great player, and so we wish him well, and hopefully has a speedy recovery from what sounded like a pretty severe accident.